Hi guys, and welcome to a video all about maximizing profitability and revenue in the coffee shop industry. What if I told you that there was one very simple metric that you could use to maximize your profitability? So if you're looking to increase revenue, or you need to increase revenue to make your shop more profitable, watch this video. We're going to break it down right now. So welcome to my video. My name's Richard. If you've not been here before, welcome. And we're going to have a real in-depth look at the KPI known as ATV. So within branded coffee shops, they use KPIs to track their performance through various areas of their business, one of them being ATV. So ATV is average transactional value, and we're going to break this down and see how we can help you, or I can help you maximize your profit through each transaction within your daily operation. So if you've not been here before, my name is Richard and I have been a professional in the hospitality industry for my whole life. I've worked as a manager for many years, and my last store was managing the largest, or one of the largest, Costa coffees in the UK within Manchester Airport. So what is average transactional value and how can it help you grow your business? Well, it's really simple. So ATV is a mixture of looking at your sales, your total sales through a period, divided by the amount of transactions that have gone through your till during that period. So if it's daily, weekly, monthly, however you want to look at it, I would probably, if you're looking at increasing it right now, I'd be looking at daily, and I'd be seeing what is my daily average transactional value. Then we're looking at how many or how much money people are spending per transaction, and what we can do to increase that increases your profitability, and it makes sure that you're not increasing your staffing cost, your overhead cost for that transaction. So if you look at it from another point of view, if your store was taking £1,000 a day and you had 200 customers per day or 200 transactions per day, you know that on average each transaction value is £5. And what we want to do is increase that so that they were spending £7.50 or £8 per transaction. If we can do that, we really increase our profitability for the day, and we increase our revenues for the day. So you may ask, how does that help me? Well, it helps you in many ways. So if we are increasing a transactional value, then what we're doing is we're increasing the money coming into the business, but we're not increasing our wage costs. So we're maximizing the opportunities that we have within that transaction between the customer and the business, and maximizing our profit opportunity. It's hugely important because it makes the business so much more sustainable. One of the really easy ways to do it is by active upselling at the till point. So this is when you've got your team really engaging with the customers, and they're actively looking for opportunity to upsell to that customer. So customer comes in, they just want a cappuccino, and they're just saying, no, cappuccino please, and then we're looking for an opportunity to increase the value of that transaction. So it goes from whatever your standard cappuccino cost is, whether it's $3.50 or $4, whether it's pounds or whether it's dollars, it doesn't matter. So we're looking for opportunity. Maybe that customer only wants a drink, and if they only want a drink, what can we sell them? Well, maybe we can say, did you want an alternative milk? Did you want an extra shot? Do you normally have any syrup in that? Anything like that that's not plastic, that's not generalistic, that doesn't become a conversation that is just purely transactional, really gives you an opportunity to take that extra money. So if it was a syrup, and that syrup is, $50, or maybe, sorry, $50, that's huge. 50 pence or 50 cents, whichever way you're looking at it, then times that by the amount of transactions for the people that are coming through your door, times that by weekly, times that by monthly, yearly, you can start to see the benefit of actually increasing that transaction value by just 50 cents, 50 pence, however your monetary system is working. And it is huge, it's massive for you. massive, especially over 200 times a day if you can get that little upsell. Upselling for a cake or a pastry or a breakfast item or a sandwich, a panini, it's hugely beneficial for the business. One, it doesn't take an extra team member to put a piece of cake on a plate, put a pastry on a plate. Two, you're really looking after that customer. That customer is felt that they're looked after because you're offering, would you like some breakfast? Have you tried our pastries? Have you seen this new cake we have? All the kinds of conversations that we can have with our customers while we are standing there. Have you had any lunch? Are you looking for a lunch space today? And having that product available hugely benefits the business. Huge. I can't stress enough how much of a difference it's going to make. I mean, this is upselling without upselling. The negative side of upselling is how many times have you been into a business and they're so transactional about it. For me, not within the hospitality industry, but within normal retail, going into a store, one would be card warehouse, and you pick up your cards, you pick up your wrapping paper, your birthday accessories, and then you go to the till, and then they kind of hold up a chocolate bar and say, would you like this for an extra £1? And my immediate answer is no. And it's not because I'm not looking for that, it's because I know that they're trying to force it on me. And I do the same everywhere I go. Everywhere you go these days, somebody is trying to force you to spend money. And we need to be working in a way that doesn't feel like we're trying to do that. So how do we make it natural? And we make it natural by listening to the customer, identifying the needs, and having a conversation. And conversation is key, because we're not making it look like we're really trying to force a sale. We're making it look like, have you tried my favorite thing? Oh, I love flat whites, but I always have a bit of vanilla in mine. Do you want to try it your way? Do you want to try it my way and see, I love flat whites, but I have to have an extra shot in mine. Would you like to try an extra shot in yours? Kind of conversational way up the customer when they come in, look at the situation, the circumstances, the order that they've already placed, and then make recommendation based on that conversation. It's hugely different and it's hugely impacting, and it really builds, if the customer feels cared about, it really builds in that customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is another way of increasing ATV. So if you have a loyalty scheme, even if it's a card where customers get stamps, they get 10 stamps, they could get it for food items and for coffee. It doesn't have to be just for coffee. And if it was for food items and coffee, and then they were getting 2 stamps if they come in and they have coffee and cake, coffee and pastry, coffee and hot food item, then what you're doing is you're building in that customer loyalty, because that customer then recognizes that they're collecting stamps, and then when they get to a certain amount, whether it's 10 stamps, whether it's more or less, then they get a free item. And that's hugely beneficial for the customer, and it really ties in that loyalty for you, and it's a really great way of building that ATV without making it sound transactional, making it sound forceful. Okay, so as an example, if you had 200 people visit your store or your coffee shop and you upsold to an average value of 50 pence per transaction, then you're looking at around about £36,000 additional revenue at the end of the year. And from a 50 pence transaction, that's huge. That could be a difference between make or break for your business, and it certainly is a massive amount of money to inject into the business to help you grow and to help you become more sustainable for the future. Other drivers for ATV is absolutely important that we have a brilliant, fantastic looking displays, food displays. Whether it's your chiller fridge, whether it's your cake display, whether it's in the front of the till for your impulse, whatever it is, it's not about having a huge range of food, but it's about having food that looks great to eat. And if you've got a load of cakes that look like they were got out of the bin, basically I've been some places, if you've got a glass fronted cake display and it's full of fingerprints, there's crumbs everywhere, everything looks like it's already been chewed once or maybe twice, then you're not going to sell it. You may as well throw it all away. So really important is that we have excellent looking, clean, fresh, crisp cake displays. And in an old-fashioned way, if you've got a nice display and it's full and it's fresh, you're going to sell it. The same with pastry. if the pastry is looking fresh. If you say to someone, hey guys, would you like a pastry with your coffee today? Breakfast pastry, these croissants, we only cooked them off half an hour ago, 5 minutes ago, whatever it is, they're still slightly warm, but I can heat it up for you. You're gonna sell it because you're selling the idea, one, it's fresh, it's not gone all like kind of hard, dry and crispy, and two, you're really tapping into somebody's taste buds there. You're really tapping into who doesn't like pastry. There's not many people that don't like pastry. There's not many people that don't like cake, but you know, cake is kind of, you know, it's an acquired taste, I suppose. People that are conscious of weight loss or conscious of how much they're eating, then they don't want to go in and have a cake every single day, but maybe a pastry, maybe lunch, maybe a panini, especially if you've got a panini press and it's looking really fresh, it smells good, it makes a massive difference. Thinking about what impact does a 50 pence on your sale make? Imagine what an impact of regularly selling, upselling cake, pastry, panini, sandwich, bacon, butties, sausage, anything like that, bottles of water. When you start to look at it from the point of view of revenue, you can see this huge increase in revenue. And you start taking your store from your break-even point, from maybe your break-even point is 200, but actually if you doubled your ATV, your break-even point's going to be half that, because in terms of transactions, I mean, it's going to be half, because you don't need that huge volume of people to make that break-even point, so that once you've passed that break-even point each day, everything else is just a bonus on top. So I would really encourage you, if you ran your own coffee shop, is to really focus on your ATV. It makes a huge difference to your profitability. It will make a huge difference on your P&L. If you're working for somebody else, you can easily put 10-15% revenue on your P&L just by focusing on ATV, and that's going to have a huge difference. The other thing that it has a huge difference on is wastage, because when we have product availability and maybe we have quite a wide range of products on offer for our customers, when you start to actively, and your whole team is actively upselling every single transaction, you're reducing the amount that you're going to waste at the end of the day. Even if you're not ordering more, whatever your wastage percentage is, whatever your highest waste product is, you need to really focus and drill down. It might be that somebody's over ordered on chocolate muffins, for example, ham and cheese toasty, and someone's well over ordered on that, and we have to say, right guys, come on, today we need to ship these because they're going out of date and they've got to go in the bin. And we'd rather not 50% them, because that's, if we 50% something, that's really hitting our ATV. It might be covering your costs, but it means that you've not actually made any profit. Whereas if we actively upsell, we're going to make a profit on those items. So by 50%ing, what we're doing is we're diverting the customer who is going to buy that product anyway, or one of those within that range. You're changing their focus of attention to something that's 50%ed. So where you would have got the full value sale, you're only getting half the money. So I would rather control all my costs across the business. That's what I would do, is I would have really good stock control, and I would really focus on my ATV so that I was actually minimizing my wastage by actively upselling, and get my whole team to actively upsell every single transaction, every single time. And I know that you might feel, well, you know, I don't want to push on people, I don't want to try and put people off by trying to extract every penny. That's why you've really got to be aware of that customer, and you've really got to be judging, you know, how do I get into this conversation, and where do I upsell, how do I upsell, what is it that I'm going to do to upsell. And it might be something really small, it might be something really big. You know, you might get some retired people and you think, actually, I'm not going to sell them a panini, I'm not going to try and sell them a panini, because money wise it's probably a lot of money. But maybe they might go for a tea cake, maybe they might go for some toast and jam, maybe that, you know, they might go for something else like an extra shot. Just got to weigh it up and really focus on what value can I add to that customer's experience, because that's what it's all about. It's adding value to your customer experience. You know, everybody likes, you know, cup of tea and a tea cake. Great breakfast item, great through the afternoon. I never understand why coffee shops do have bread in stock stop selling toast at 11 o'clock. I don't understand it. And I know that you could say, or it could be said that the offering of toast is having a negative impact on my sale of toasties and paninis. But actually, the customer that's coming in for toast probably already wants toast before they get to you. They want a cup of tea, or they want, you know, an Americano and toast. And it might be that that is their budget. And it's really, really important that if they're coming in to buy toast, that we actually do that for them. I don't understand why we wouldn't do it. So as I was saying before, you might feel like you don't want to push on people, but at the end of the day, we live in a world where cost of running this business is really high. Cost of labor is really high. If we have a machine breakdown, it's really important that that's repaired and replaced. You know, God forbid that you have a coffee machine condemned and it's going to cost you 10, £25,000 to replace. It might be make or break for you depending on, you know, how many coffee shops you have, what your profitability is, what you've got in your repairs and maintenance budget, whether you can actually afford it. But at the end of the day, if we're not maximizing our opportunities, then we're not putting the money back in the till, back in the bank, to be able to afford to properly maintain the business. And at the end of the day, although espresso is in our heart and our soul, coffee is in our heart and our soul, customer service is in our heart and our soul, but we're not there just to please everybody else. We're there to make a profit, and it's really, really important that we do so, that we keep ahead of the game. Another way to increase ATV is seasonal drinks, and those of you who run coffee shops that don't have a seasonal offering, then it's really, really important that you start to think about Christmas drinks. What sort of seasonality can I offer? Autumn drinks, definitely. You know, when you look at all the branded outlets, they're all doing pumpkin spice autumn through Halloween. They're doing maple hazelnut, and then when we get to Christmas, gingerbread, yeah, and there's loads of other things. Like, I suppose you could go for mint hot chocolates, you can go for mint choc chip, frappe, mint chocolate frappe. There's loads of things that you can do to really increase your ATV. So seasonal drinks with a bit of glitter on top, with cream, like the Costa gingerbread men that they put on top of the drink. All these things really focus on looking at historically what have other branded outlets offered. And I know that within the independent business we're slightly different, but it's really important that we offer that seasonal drink. Within the branded environment, you call it a seasonal campaign, and those drinks are slightly more expensive. So they might be 30 to 50 pence more expensive. They've got a bit more bling to them. They're very seasonal. Christmas is a really good time, a really good example. Summer is a really, really good example for your ice drinks and your ice drink offering, iced tea, iced coffee. And it's not just the standard things. We need to walk away maybe a little bit step back from the standard coffee offering and really look at what is attracting people to other coffee shops around me and how can I better that. And to better that is to really provide those seasonal campaign drinks that are going to bring customers in and help them spend a little bit more money. So I'd really, really urge you to look at the trends, other branded environments, and it might be that you offer something so much better, and it might be that it's a little bit more money and it's increasing your ATV. It's exactly the same as at Christmas time we might have a mince pie. Why not? We might have Christmas cake, we might do other food items that are more Christmassy, especially like pigs in blankets and things like that. Toasties with pigs in blankets, toasties with, brie and cranberry, all sorts of different things that we can do for a Christmas campaign. Focus on it, develop your menu, train your team, get them straight in. Autumn is a great time to start it because then your team get used to making campaign drinks and then introducing them. So you take them off at the end of October, beginning of November, and then you start early November your Christmas campaign, and you get your team trained up and you get them smashing out their Christmas drinks, and you'll be surprised how much more revenue that's bringing in. And it might bring people in just to see that. Another way is to pair products together. So when you've got advertising and you've got photographs and you might have social media advertising and you might have a following of your regular customers, if you start to pair some of your products together, I don't necessarily mean make an offer, but definitely pair them in a picture form. So I suppose you might have LCD displays for your menu. If you have these, you don't have the boards or anything like that, you just have these nice LCD nice, clean, crisp, and you're putting photographs on there, then I would pair them together. So I would pair maybe, an example would be a mocha and a chocolate brownie. They're a great pair, they look great together, and you're going to get people who are going to buy these because they see a picture of it and they think, yeah, that's great. I was going for a mocha but a chocolate brownie with it. Absolutely amazing, and it looks really good when you're displaying them together. So I know this for a fact, that I've worked in the branded environment where the pictures of coffee are always paired with a food item, and when you do that, you really increase your sales massively because people will buy the pair rather than the individual item. So really important, just to recap then, so we are actively upselling, we are actively making sure that our offering is looking clean and crisp and fresh, we're making sure that product availability is there, we're making sure that we are producing any advertising, any menu items, photographs, anything like that. We're pairing together our food offering and our drinks offering. We're making sure that we've got a seasonal drink campaign going on, whether it's food and drink, or whether it's just drinks, whether you're just starting slowly, but we're making sure that we've got these things in place and we're really driving our business forward. It's really important that you monitor and you record your successes so that you can see what works, what doesn't work in your area. So if it was me, I would be looking daily at my average transactional value, and if I didn't have a system that just automatically generated that for me, then I would be looking at it from the point of view of just getting my calculator on my phone and looking at the figures and looking at how many transactions I'd had that day and working it out and recording it on a sheet. Really simple spreadsheet, really simple way of doing it. If I had more than one shop, I would be looking at that whole, how it's all worked across all of the shops and which shop was leader, because I think it's really important that you start to engage teams in doing this. So if you just have one shop, then you're going to run a tracker that you're going to display for everybody for every day or once a week or however you want to do it. And what I would do then is I would look at individual people's success and make sure that they're all having an opportunity to work on the till, because you don't know, somebody might really surprise you who doesn't normally work on the till, and they really surprise you because their ATV is higher than anybody else's. Yeah, so let somebody else have a go on the till. Everybody gets the chance to go on the till, rotate people around, because you might suddenly find one member of staff exceeds your expectations massively and totally smashes all the figures, and that could be a complete surprise to you, and you didn't realize that that was what was going to happen, and you'll absolutely want to zone right in to their ability and really increase your profitability that way. They're the same that you might have somebody who doesn't very often work on coffee machine, and then when they do, they totally smash it, and they're smashing out patterns and latte art on top of their flat whites, the cafe lattes, the cappuccinos are amazing, and the customers really enjoy that little bit of banter around the coffee machine that they normally have with the customers. So yeah, I would definitely run a competition. I would be tracking, I would be sharing that information, and I'd be really getting my team involved in some ownership around ATV, and really pushing it. You know, it's not an easy task, and people sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable with it at first, but when you get used to it and you get going with it and you see the value of it, you're really never going to turn back again. So I just wanted to let all you guys know that I'm a coffee coach, a coffee consultant for the coffee shop industry, and I've got a great package to help you move your business forward, to boost your profitability, to really tighten up your controls and really help you to grow and develop your business. So if you're just starting out and you've just got plans in place, or you've got a business that's rolling right now and you just want some fine tuning, just some help, then just let me know and I can sit down with you for a reasonable cost and work out what your needs are and help you with your direction. In the first instance, I'm happy to give anybody a free half an hour Teams call. I only take on a certain amount of clients at any one time, but yeah, please send me an email. The email is in the description below, and we can go from there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it's given you some insight into the KPI ATV, average transactional value. I hope that you'll be able to see the benefit of really pushing that and driving that forward within your business. And have a good one, guys. Please give me a like, a follow, a follow, subscribe if you want to see some more. But yeah, thank you for watching. I've enjoyed making this video and I hope you've enjoyed watching it.